From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBICB Primetime Capper, and it's time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And I got my man with me today on a Monday, the one and only Don of Cape Cod, Jeff Dawson. Jeff, what's going on? How's everything going with you today?
It's good to be back on Mondays.
Yeah, it is. It's good to see you back here on Mondays as well, too.
Yeah, it's nice to get back into the routine. Life's good. Great weekend for us in baseball, 7-2. Hit a nice action parlay last night. Closed out with the Padres winning. Debuted the breakfast bankroll this morning with Scotty on the 3 platforms. So busy week ahead. You're playing NBA games, NHL playoffs, MLB, PGA championship. A lot to look forward to.
You know that. And pretty much, let's go ahead and jump into it. It was a good weekend this weekend in the annals of the NBA. 3 great players, 3 legendary players were enshrined into the Hall of Fame. And I think this was the right way to do it. These guys were very, very common with each other as well, too. We have Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant, their battles in the playoffs as well. And then Kevin Garnett and his battles with Tim Duncan. And, you know, as later on in life, you know, Kevin was able to get to Boston and get with Kobe in a couple playoff series, so they could be a part of the Lakers Celtics legacy as well too. So I feel like this is by far one of the best groups you could put in together, and it was perfect timing as well too. Even though it's posthumously for Kobe, it's still a beautiful moment that occurred this weekend as well too, because all 3 of these guys are just sort of, in a sense, just like how Bird, Magic, and MJ were, as we would call the Trinity. And these guys were the guys that pushed the 2000s. Everybody said, well, where's Iverson at? Well, Iverson, I hate to tell people this, Iverson was a bad, bad man. But we both know this at the end of the day, when he got traded to Denver, it was pretty much over. You know, and that's it. People got to understand, Kobe was good for 15 years straight. Kevin Garnett was good for about 13, 14 years straight. And Tim Duncan was literally good his whole career. Even at the end point when he wasn't even playing that much, he was still a valuable player. You know what I mean? Allen Iverson, the moment that he went to Denver, he kind of turned into just a one-trick pony in a sense. It wasn't the same edge it was with Iverson like it was in Philly, the little man taking on the whole world and everything like that. People had kind of understood what was coming, what was going to be on the table, things of that nature. It's not like we're going to leave you out the group, but you are kind of like the Isaiah Thomas of this thing. You feel what I'm saying, Jeff, in a sense? You know what I mean? And your legacy is not the same as theirs, because at the end of the day, you're not as positive as these guys as well, too. Too much off the field, off the court stuff. There's things that come into play when you're a legend. And, you know, you can't have too much baggage when you're a legend as well, too, because there's guys that have their own planet, and then there's legends. These 3 have their own planet, you know, and that's how I feel, because they birthed so many players that are shaping today's NBA. You know what I mean? So that's my point, 2 cents on that. How are you feeling?
No, I agree with everything that you said. I mean, when we're talking Hall of Fame, we're always talking, who we leaving out, or when we put players in groups, and then, you know, who's the GOAT. I mean, that word has just gotten so overplayed by now that it's ridiculous right now. I still remember the day leaving UConn basketball game with my 2 daughters when Kobe had passed. And when you talk about Timmy Duncan, I have to go back and just say, wow, you know, what a perfect transition from David Robinson, you know, and then in comes Tim Duncan, and we talk about a dynamic duo there. And then Kevin Garnett again, Wolves, and then we get the steal, and we bring him with Ray Allen and team him up with Paul Pierce and win the championship here in Boston. They've been talking that they need to bring Kevin back, maybe even to coach this team. That's a whole nother story, but definitely a great weekend for all three. Amazing. Glad to see all of them in the Hall of Fame, all well-deserved. And it was a good weekend. Absolutely.
Great weekend. And it's good to see these guys, even though it looked like right now, Tim Duncan is just so it's hard to recognize Tim now. Tim looks like he does a lot. He sells art somewhere in Midtown Manhattan right now. That's how Tim's looking right now. You know what I mean? And it is what it is at the end of the day. But let's go ahead and jump into our next topic in hand. Let's talk about the Washington football team. It's never too early to talk football, Jeff. You know that. Even though we have months away until we do NFL Bet Exchange, hopefully you'll be back on that with me as well, too, because that's not going anywhere. And I think that we'll probably be able to start the show Thursdays instead of on a Tuesday. We can start doing the show on time, so we can be common with the lines, because I think that we used to have our lines a little bit skewed when it came to Sundays because things changed drastically when it comes to Sunday. We had days where it was a 6.5, then it goes to a 2 on a Sunday. But let's get into the Washington football team. Do you really think that they can go without a proven QB and still have a winning record this year?
The guy, and I'm drawing a blank, who stepped in and had that one good game, and he actually looked promising. The teams that succeed the most are the ones that have their quarterback under financial strain. And do I think they will succeed? I think they have the right coach there. They have a lot of weapons. I'm a big Scary Terry fan. I think they're moving in the right direction. The problem that I foresee, unfortunately, is that actually the division that they're in, they had the perfect storm last year with the injuries in Dallas and same as in Philly. I think they'll be looking up at all those teams this year. Kind of surprising. I mean, their defense, the Ohio State, their second-year vet now, motor doesn't stop. And I just, can they succeed? What's succeeding? I think last year we both had them in that 5-win category. At least I did, I thought. Do I see them at 500? No. With 17 games this year currently, I could see a 6-12 or something like that, Pops.
You know what? And at the end of the day, I love their coach. I love what they did last season, proving all the doubters wrong. But I just think that the Haskins disciplinary situation was a bit much. I think that was a bit much because they didn't want to appease the. They didn't want to teach a lesson. They just wanted to get rid of him, and I didn't like that. I felt like, okay, suspend him 2-3 games. Or just let him be suspended for the rest of the season, learn a lesson. The kid can play quarterback. He just needs a bit more patience. He was kind of rushed into the situation. And then, Alex Smith was able to carry on for you. And I feel like Haskins proved that he could be an NFL starter in game 1 of the season last year when he led him out the tunnel at halftime when they were losing and wound up having one of the better comebacks of the season in all of the NFL. Even though Philly would wind up not being that great of a team at the end of the day, it still was, to me, a sign that this guy can make it in the league. And I just feel like Ron Rivera said to himself that I didn't draft this guy. The coach was kind of an imbecile who drafted him, and Jay Gruden. Jay Gruden lost his way. We both know this. And they did. Okay, so anything Jay Gruden brought here isn't good. That's what the idea was. Anything Jay Gruden brought. So they were using the past to judge him. And I felt like him and Josh Rosen have been put in the same position with impatient franchises. And we all know that Washington is, in a sense, is a team that plays much better with a veteran quarterback. Now they haven't had a good rookie quarterback since RG3, who was ruined by Shanahan, pretty much running him into the ground early. And now you have this situation where you have a Haskins and you already gave up on him early. You know what I mean? So that's why we didn't draft the quarterback. Washington didn't draft the quarterback. Washington had an opportunity to go get Kyle Trask, who I feel is better than Mac Jones. You know, but the thing is, they said, no, we want to build the team this way, and we'll wait on our quarterback to come. What quarterback is that good that you're going to wait on in this year's draft? That's my question. You know what I mean, Jeff?
The Oklahoma gunslinger.
The quarterback draft coming up next year.
No, I think that, this year was the quarterbacks. And the teams that didn't want to draft one in the first round had plenty of opportunities. I mean, we've talked about the Mons, the Trask, the Stanford quarterback. There was a couple more as well. But again, when you add one of those pieces, you're just sitting there, and then, you're starting quarterbacks not doing well. The team's, 2-6, 2-7, and people are asking, all right, let's see what we got. So if we do get into a situation in the first round, then at least we know, do we need to draft a quarterback or not?
Right. So, Washington's my biggest question because I love their defense. I think Washington has a playoff defense, but they don't have a suffices offense. You can't say, okay, they got this good running back here, they can have a quarterback just manage. No, that's not their situation. They're really limited offensive-wise, and I think having a great defense is just going to determine a lot of unders for you this year. That's it. And that's what I think about when you think about Washington early, is that they're going to be a team that their highest scoring game might be 27 points this year. You know what I mean? Because of 2 defensive touchdowns. All right, let's move forward. Let's go ahead and talk about our next topic at hand. This one is playing games. Are they a good or bad thing for the NBA? Jeff, let me get your thoughts on this.
I'm looking at these lines. I mean, for tomorrow, the Hornets opened up a 0.5-point favorite. Now the Pacers are 3. The Wizards opened up 1.5-point favorites. The Celtics are now 1.5-point favorites. So both of those flopped to the home teams. Let's just say this. I know Mr. Curry is a huge, huge drawing card. Has had an amazing year. And if Clay didn't get hurt, this team could have been the Phoenix Suns of this year. And I know it's an if, and I know it's not going to happen, but if Golden State was ever to knock off the Lakers, the NBA would cringe. So is it good? I understand the thought process. It's a couple extra games. It's good, for these teams that would not have made the playoffs. So, extra games means extra sales and revenue for the NBA and players. So I guess in the long run, it's good. But again, if the Lakers were ever to get knocked out, which I'm not saying they will, trust me, but, if they did, the NBA will look hard and long before, doing this again next year.
Right, because now your best player is stuck in this situation, and LeBron. Well, 2 of your best players, LeBron and Curry, had to go at each other. But I think that the Western Conference is set at the end of the day. The Lakers wind up beating the Warriors Wednesday. Warriors wind up beating whoever they play the next day. It doesn't matter. And I think that the Warriors and Lakers both advance in the first round. Crazy thoughts, I know, but we're in a crazy playoff situation this year as well, too, Jeff. And the Lakers, doesn't matter where the Lakers are seated at. They're still the de facto team in the Western Conference. At the end of the day, they're playing the role of the 1995 Houston Rockets right now. Remember that? The Houston Rockets, they pick up, Drexler midway through the season, but it's not the same situation. That Rockets team was plagued with a lot of injuries that year, and they were getting older at that time as well, too. And then that deal to bring in Drexler was more of a, let's bring in a hometown guy. Portland's having a bad season. And hey, this is a last-ditch effort to just even make it to the playoffs. That's what it was all about. And they got in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, the championship mojo kicked back in. And that's how I feel with the Lakers right now, is that the championship mojo will kick back in. LeBron loves challenges, and this is a big challenge for him. In a way, Stephen Curry loves challenges as well, too. Stephen Curry's been in this position before as an 8th-seeded team beating a 1st-seeded team. So that's why I say this will not be a complicated situation for these two to get past, because nobody expected the Jazz and the Suns to be here. You know that. And the Jazz and Suns would possibly be a 7th and 8th seed themselves if everything was correct in the NBA this year.
And then the sad thing is with Denver, and Jokic is playing out of his mind.
Right.
But the loss of Murray, if Murray was not hurt, I think a lot of us at this point might be talking Denver right now.
Right.
So you're correct. I expect the Lakers to flip that switch, and I think they go as far as LeBron and AD obviously can take it. I mean, that's simple. We all know that. But, injuries do add up. And LeBron at 37 isn't LeBron at 27. Not that he doesn't accept the challenge. But, if you're going 6 and 7 games in these series and, you get to the finals against the Clippers or whoever it may be, experience usually prevails. Okay. So if we sat here and talked, 5-6 weeks from now, and the Lakers are playing the Bucks or they're playing Philly or they're playing the Nets, we wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, they're the champs. LeBron's been there, and I'm expecting a deep run from them. I really am, and you can get them now at a decent price, and you don't have to worry about the individual games. Just play the series and move on.
And I think the most exciting player, the person that we're all going to really be paying attention to see what he can do at the end of the day. And I know it's going to tickle your funny bone a little bit, Jeff. But LaMelo Ball, I got to see me some LaMelo. LaMelo makes the playoffs before his brother as well, too. That's crazy. You know what I mean? And actually was a leader on that team. Everything that went right for LaMelo went wrong for Zoe rookie season. And now with the presence of Zoe being a better shooter now and everything like that, I would say the guy's headed to the Knicks because he's not coming back to New Orleans. But if you're the Knicks, wouldn't you put up a couple dollars for him to put him back with Julius Randle?
Hey, listen, I mean,
before he was traded. Before everybody left, the chemistry was getting there.
I'm telling you right now, I mean, that's the story. Not that we're expecting anything, for them to go deep. But, I mean, Thibodeau, in my eyes, hands down, should be the coach of the year. And if he never left the Celtics, and was still the assistant, I think he'd be probably the head coach of the Celtics next year. But Danny put his stamp on that and said him, Danny, Brad, and Jason and Jalen will all be back next year, so don't you worry about that. But it's going to be fun, Pops. It's definitely. But I agree with you. That'll be interesting. The Knicks are definitely moving in the right direction.
Yes, they are. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. You guys can go to hackclub.com and go ahead and get yourself 10% off on any $50 order or better. Once again, hackclub.com. Any order that's $50 or better, you will get 10% off with the discount that's in the show description. All right. So we will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capitals.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capital, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back, and we are feeling good, feeling great. And all right, well, I gotta wait. Jeff,
Yo.
Mike. Oh, he's back. Okay, because you have your mic on mute. I was like, I'll mute the mic, Jeff. All right.
I didn't touch it.
Blue Crew Daily. Let's get to the Blue Crew Daily real quick. Dodgers, good week this week for the Dodgers. They won 4 out of 5, Jeff. They didn't lose till yesterday. And it was blowouts too. They weren't just playing teams, they were beating teams. You know what I mean? Beating them down. You know what I mean? They had themselves. Do they play? I'm trying to figure out, did they play 6 or 5 games this week? I thought they played the Mariners twice, and then they had a day off Thursday. But all in all, they only lost 1 game, which was yesterday. The Dodgers kind of got themselves back together in a sense, but I think that it could be a little bit better, when it comes down to it. But all in all, though, this one, Dodgers 22-18, still in 3rd place, but now you get an easy team in the Diamondbacks. As I said before, the Dodgers need to get into their division a little bit more, and that's when the winning starts, because you're always going to have a mixed bag when you're going against the AL West, and then you got to play against the NL East and teams in the NL Central, things of that nature. You're not playing against teams in your division. So, Jeff, real quick, what are your thoughts on the Dodgers right now going into this week?
Well, I am really tickled pink that they decided to lose yesterday. That was our second game. We had the Marlins plus the 138. Adam Duvall with the 3-run homer in the 5th ended up holding on. I tell you what, we talked about your depth. We talked about, the injuries. Okay, now how will the seed long term? I know it's plug and play there, but the point is you got the steady pitching, waiting for Gastrol and a few other arms to come back. A tough break with May. We know they're going to be in the playoffs. We're assuming that they're going to win the West. And then we just move on from there. Again, you got to 22-18, and now you just start wanting to chip away. You got to start. We had talked last week. You had lost 5 series in a row. You got to start winning the series. 2 out of 3 makes everyone happy. Win the series and just turn the page and move on. And you'll be fine. Trust me. We'll be talking every Monday here as this keeps going up, up, and up. And by the All-Star break, you probably have a 5-game lead and already talking about, setting your rotation ready sometime in September for the playoffs in October.
Well, they didn't wind up being the super rotation I assumed they were going to be with the 6 starting pitchers, because David Price is back at his favorite place, the injury reserve. The Red Sox, Tigers, and Blue Jays know that place very well for this guy. You know what I mean? No offense to him or anything like that, but we both know. He's one of the most overpaid pitchers in baseball, but when he is healthy, he is one of the better pitchers in baseball as well, too. But he's not worth the price of admission, because the thing is, he's never really healthy. But it's okay. The Dodgers have an asset that they could possibly move during the trade deadline as well, too, if they can't get it right with David Price. You know what I mean? But I tell you what, though, he was a huge part for the Red Sox, because he was able to go from the starting to the bullpen, and that's what happens in the playoff series. And let's be honest, Pop, that the May situation, okay, it was like a 1A and 1B. Who are we going to throw to the bullpen, and who are we going to have as the starter? And May was the perfect starter. He's young. Let's get him out there. Let's see what he can do. Price accepted the bullpen. May gets hurt, and of course, Price then follows suit, and vice versa. So tough break, but again, you guys will be fine. All right. So there it is. That's the Dodgers for you. And Walker Buehler takes them out tonight against Mad Bum, And Mad Bum's like that good old pitcher that days he might be able to get you something. He already pitched a no-hitter this year. But we both know, Jeff, it's over. This guy, his best years are far, far behind him.
Agree, but the guy's been lights out his last 5 starts, and it's almost like the old Mad Bomb is back. But he's like that, that scab or that wart that just won't go away. He's just hanging around, and he's found it. So it'll be interesting. Buehler struggled last outing, gave up a few homers. I think you guys stuck out a win for him, and you guys have owned the D-backs. So it should be a good late night game on the East Coast for us to watch versus you catching them on primetime. So.
Jeff, it's going to be the first 3 innings, and it's going to be snoozing. Catch me in the morning. I'll get the score in the morning. All right,
That's right.
Let's go ahead and get into an early game, Eastern wise, and that's going to be the Giants and the Reds. Giants and the Reds is going to be a good one. Giants coming in here as a dog, but they do have the better record in this spot as well, too. So, we pretty much have ourselves a very, very good situation here in this game. You can go both ways here as well. But I like the Reds in this spot, Jeff. I like Sonny Gray. I know Sonny Gray might not get as much love as he did in Oakland, but he's still their best pitcher in Cincinnati. So I got to go ahead and take their best pitcher tonight. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
We talked about this morning. This was one of the overnight moves that kind of struck me early. Cincinnati, by the way, home versus the road, they got like a 5.2 runs on the road, and they come back home, and for some reason they're struggling with just over 2 runs a game. But Sonny Gray opened up minus 150 to the San Fran plus 130. It was basically a split on the bets. We have San Fran at a 53-47 split, but on the monies, Reds attracting 70% of the money, while San Fran coming in at 30%. Yet San Fran went from minus 150 and currently, as we speak, minus 131. So some big reverse line movement there on San Fran and Webb. We're leaning here at ECSI on San Fran and Webb plus the 118, Pops.
All right. Okay, so you like San Fran tonight. I like the Reds tonight. We'll see how it shakes out. Let's move on to our next game. This is going to be a good one. It's going to be the Mets at the Braves, and the Mets and the Braves. National League East game. When you look at it, the Mets are struggling a bit. Taijuan Walker, though, is been pitching very well this season. And Max Fried has been getting absolutely annihilated. And but he's kind of getting it together. So what are you thinking here, Jeff? I'm thinking that the Mets should be able to get the upset tonight. Taijuan Walker coming here, 2.20 ERA, 39 strikeouts over 18 walks, 3-1 on the year. How are you feeling about this one?
The Braves have been Jekyll and Hyde with us. Every time we release them, they cannot score. I was talking today, every time I release the Braves from here on out, I should also release their team total under as a prop bet just to ensure we get some kind of split at worst. Atlanta opened up minus 130, Mets plus 110. I'm seeing Atlanta right now minus 155 and the Mets plus 140. 57-43 split on the bets, leaning Mets. And the money's is a 51.49 on Atlanta. Yet the line went up 25 cents to Atlanta minus 155 now. Mets got kind of beat up in Tampa. I don't know which one of these two teams are going to show up. I would honestly say with the sharp movement here, I would lean Atlanta, but I see the value definitely on the Mets plus the 140, Pops.
All right. There it is. The Mets. Let's get it. I love the Mets today. They're one of my dogs. I think they are the dog of the day. I got them at plus 125 myself, but I know they're moving up because a lot of people like Fried at home. So I'll move on. Let's talk about another divisional matchup here. White Sox and the Twins. This one's going to be a good one as well, too. Yeah, the White Sox coming in here. Both, I have it at minus 110. I know this has changed around since that point. Where do you have it at now, Jeff?
White Sox opened at 115. Now they're currently minus 101, and Minnesota now is minus 109.
Okay, so they're going to favor Minnesota when it's all said and done here today, it looks like. Because I'm thinking we're looking at the pitching matchup, and they're saying J.A. Happ should have a better game today than Dallas Keuchel. And it makes a lot of sense. Both of these guys walk a lot. They're not striking out a lot of guys either this year. So they're just dueling now. So pretty much this game right here would be one that I would like the scoreboard watch more than anything. And then you have both teams in the top 10 when it comes to batting average as well, too. So this game kind of has an overwritten all over it, but we'll see how it shakes out, see how it goes. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, we talked last Thursday, and we're going to talk again. The White Sox have won 15 straight against lefty starters, and now I think they're 25-3 their last 28 against lefty starters. And if I remember correctly, they just swept Minnesota at home. This one smells like you-know-what all day. Huge reverse line movement on Minnesota. and 81% of the money coming in on Chicago and only 19% on Minnesota. Yes, you're trying to buck that trend. Unfortunately for us at ECSI, we're going to take another swing here, and we definitely lean Twins minus the 109 tonight, Pops.
All right. And now we got a game here at the Big A tonight. The Indians and the Angels, and pretty much the Indians coming here plus 110 doggy tonight. Then you got the Angels minus 135. And you know what? Big shout out to Albert Pujols, the new Dodger. Dodgers got him for 2 bags of chips and a 32-ounce big gulp, and it's all good. You know what I mean? As he steals $250 million from the Angels over 10 years. So that's what's up. That's what's up. But all in all, though, I love the Indians in this game tonight, Jeff. The Angels are already in a spiral downturn, and we're not even 6 weeks into the season already. They're already going to be the worst team in the AL West because it's just I don't know what's wrong with this Angels team, Jeff, to be honest with you. They just can't ever get over the hump now. And I think Artie Moreno needs to just kind of figure out a way to win, you know what I mean, and figure out a way to bring in some pitching. The hitting part isn't the issue. It's the pitching with them, right? So I can't trust them. And usually the Indians play very well in Anaheim. So I'm going to go with this today, and I like the value on the Indians as well, too. So let's see how it checks out, see how it goes. This is a scoreboard watching game as well, too, Jeff. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree 100,000% in everything that you're saying. Getting back to the Angels, by the way, when they signed Madden, the thought process was that would help them get Cole as the anchor for their starting staff. And obviously he went to the Yankees. This one, it just doesn't make a lot of sense for us. You know, Angels played 3 games at Fenway over the weekend. Now they go all the way from Boston to Anaheim tonight to get ready for this game. They opened up minus 115 with Cleveland minus 105. We have a 58-42 split on the bets favoring Cleveland and 57-43% in the money's favoring Cleveland. Yet Anaheim goes from minus 115 to minus 142. Cleveland goes from minus 105 to plus 128. Like we talked in the Mets game, it's the same blueprint here. The value is Cleveland pitching back end, okay? But there's a lot of sharp, heavy money coming in on the Angels. And for that, we're going to follow it and lean Angels, but definitely understand and agree what you're saying with the Tribe. They had won 9 out of their last 10 before going to Seattle and splitting a 4-game series. But again, the value is with the Indians, and the sharp side seems to be Anaheim. We're going to take a swing here at ECSI on the Halos minus the 142.
All right, let's move on to our West Coast game. And that's our West Coast AL game, another West Coast AL game. But it's going to be the Tigers and the Mariners. Tigers-Mariners, this game is a pretty good game. I think that they're overvaluing the Mariners a bit here, you know, coming off of a good win against the Indians yesterday. But they got to turn it right back around, play against this Tigers team that always is really tricky as well, too. So we'll see how it goes. I know the Tigers don't have a great record this year, but it seems like they're able to win the first game of a series a lot this year. So I like the Mariners a lot. I think that they can make a big move here tonight as well, too. But what are your thoughts on this one, Jeff?
I was talking to a few clients and colleagues earlier today. My initial thought was I thought Seattle opened up minus 160, and it was too low for Kukuc to be at home against the Detroit team that's reeling. And my thought was that this would turn out to be a huge public game, a Seattle Mariner money line parlay all over the floors in the Vegas sports books and casinos. Seattle opened up at 160, currently minus 173, receiving 69% of the bets and 86% of the money. So the money and tickets are going the right way. Detroit goes from plus 140 to plus 155. I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. I see extreme value in Detroit today. Not many people will have Tiger Tickets, just because they are just not playing well. But I definitely, you talk about a sleeping dog, and there won't be many Tiger Tickets out there. So anyone listening, looking for a scratch ticket tonight, take a look at the Tigers plus the 155.
All right. Let's go ahead and end it with the Rockies and the Padres. Rockies and the Padres have themselves a pretty well. The Rockies aren't good. Okay, let's just be honest about that part. And we already knew they weren't going to be good this year. Somebody, please free Charlie Blackmon. Seriously, Jeff, am I right? Free Charlie Blackmon.
Yes,
he's too good of a player to be stuck in Colorado. They've already freed Nolan. Let's go ahead and free Charlie. But I think Charlie is a very good crowd-friendly person. You know what I mean? And the Rockies are in the news as well, too. You saw what happened, right? This Padre thing is getting a little out of control. So hopefully we won't have a Rocky fan get some revenge in the stands today. After what I saw this weekend, after what I saw last week in Denver, with the fan getting cold clocked the way he did.
Oh my God, that was bad.
The situation happened at Coors Field. Every other stadium in the division, you've seen a big fight in the NL West, but not Colorado. Just seems like the coolest stadium to be at. You know what I mean? You got great views. You know that you're going to see a 14-run game. And what's the problem?
No idea, Pops.
He must have said something bad about Machado. I know that the San Diego fans are very sensitive about him.
Manny being Manny.
Yeah. Or Tatis. Don't say anything bad about Tatis either. They'll hang you if you talk about Tatis. Now,
don't worry, Pops. You'll see them in October.
Look, the Giants might have some saying that.
No, I agree.
But you know what, Jeff? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna take the over 66.5. Who made Yu Darvish a dominant pitcher again? Yu Darvish isn't that good. John Gray is balling though this year. John Gray will probably be on a better team and be in the playoffs this year if Colorado plays this thing correctly. And when it comes to trades this year, don't you think, Jeff? John Gray should be a hot target for a team that might want to get over the top.
Either him or Marquez, but yes, I agree there. And, they're going to try to build around Story. They've kicked everyone else out of town. So come, all-star break and trade deadline, I could see definitely both of them moving.
All right. So pretty much I like the scoreboard tonight, Jeff. I'm taking the over 6.5 here.
It's a game that we will definitely just be watching. The late night, what I do is throw on the DirecTV MLB mix, and I got all my West Coast action. And as you said, I fade off into the sunset, and I wake up every once in a while to catch some scores. Padres opened up minus 190, Rockies plus 163. Currently, Padres minus 205. You can grab the Rockies at plus 183. 65-35 split on the bets favoring San Diego, and 91-9% on the money coming in on the Padres. Again, lines moving the right way, but lines should be moving a lot more than 15 cents on this one. So buyers beware there. Not much feel here. San Diego with a nice win last night, come back against the Cardinals. It's a good series for them to keep the motivation going. And so on your under over, just a quick note, 75% of the bets, 82% of the money is coming on the over, yet the under is juiced right now at 6.5 under 115.
All right. And there it is. Another great rivalry game for today. Now it's a rivalry. All right. So you guys already know what's up. You guys go ahead and check out one of our proud sponsors here, Stacy Adams. You guys can go ahead and get yourself a nice little deal. I know I haven't talked about Stacy Adams in forever, but Jeff, get you some Stacy Adams. Get you shop looking good. You know what I mean? For your next Vegas trip or for your next game that you go to, go ahead and get that link in. and get yourself situated, claim your 10% off. And actually, they got a pretty good deal going right now where I think you get about 80% off on all clearance items and things of that nature. So, hey, Stacy Adams, stay shop. That's all I can say, Jeff. So with that, we're going to be wishing Jeff farewell. Jeff, any final words you would like to say before I let you go?
First of all, again, thanks. Honored and blessed to be here. Hope to be back on next Monday with you if needed. Anyone listening that doesn't follow us, go to Twitter at EC Sports Invest. We'll follow you back, answer any questions you might have. Check us out on the Breakfast Bankroll. We're shooting for 9 a.m. again tomorrow, me and Scotty. Check out our website at www.eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Send us an email at eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. We're excited. A lot of things brewing, some irons in the fire is with you. Before you know it, we will be back for the bet exchange and talking football. It's good. I said 2021 was going to be epic, and I think there's no doubt in my mind, Pops, that the OGs will be taking over.
Right. And so what are we serving with breakfast bankroll? Are we doing bagels and coffee? Or are we doing granola bars and orange juice?
You know, I kicked the habit on the coffee. I'm about 17 days without it. I was straight black Starbucks coffee around the clock, and I was like, I've had enough. But yeah, we might have to start kicking it up with, some bagels, tea, and crumpets and all that good stuff, and have a few proud sponsors there, Pops.
All right, because I love me a bagel. All right, baby. I'll get back with you next Monday. We'll see you again. We'll be talking some NFL, MLB, NBA. You know how it goes. All right, and you know what? We're going to talk a little bit of hockey next week since we got some playoff going. You go ahead and educate the people real quick.
Absolutely.
All right. We will be right back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live.
The Viget app, where social media meets sports betting. Get the latest line movements in all major sports. Track your daily bets, daily contests, the NFL over-under contest that pays out $10K in cash prizes. This is a cutting-edge app that helps betting be easy. Sign up with the reference code POPDBIC and you will be able to watch my daily show, The Primetime Angles, as a resource to building that bankroll. Viget is available in your Apple or Google Store on your iOS or Android. The social sports betting app, Viget.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
All right, we are back with the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live. And let's go ahead and get into the state of the Lakers real quick. State of the Lakers, we had ourselves a very good finish to the season. The Lakers finished their year 42-30. Wind up being third in Pacific Division, seventh in the Western Conference. They will have to face off with the arch rival from the North, the Warriors, but it's okay. The Lakers need this type of game to, warrant things a little bit and make sure that things are, attacked and play. They need a challenge like this to start off the playoff run. And the Lakers know what time it is right now, too. The Lakers aren't going to be considered a favorite this year. But are the top two teams this year in the Western Conference considered the favorite? Really? No. Because everybody's thinking about the Nets and the Sixers. Western Conference is just almost like a pageantry situation this year, right? I don't think so. I think that the Western Conference is still going to have some say on who the champion of the NBA is going to be. But everybody knows that the Lakers are going to get a lot of attention. A lot of people are still going to be betting the Lakers because now they have everybody back. AD, Schroeder, and LeBron's record together is very, very, very good. And now you have Drummond in the mix, even though Drummond hasn't been playing the type of style that most of us Laker fans want him to play. We still have Drummond, who gets multiple rebounds in the double digits nightly. And that's going to be key to a lot of things moving forward as well, too. We just have to figure out a way to get this guy implemented into the system to where he's not making so many mistakes. You know what I mean? He just, don't put too much pressure on yourself. And I feel like LeBron has shaking the rust off. He's ready to go ahead and kill it as well, too, moving forward here in the playoffs. So, we'll see how it goes. Playing game coming up on 5/19. And this is what it is right now. It's a make or break situation for the Lakers. And hopefully they won't get broken. But that's all I got. They went and had a great game last night, won by 12, and they're moving on to the playoffs. And the Pelicans are moving on to their vacation. So let's go ahead and get into the player of the night last night. Player of the night last night was Moses Brown, former UCLA Bruin. And Moses Brown was always famous for being the kid that was whose head was put up by Holiday, little brother Holiday, in a UCLA game where he was struggling a bit. Well, that kid doesn't have to worry about that anymore. He had himself a hell of a game last night. 24 points, 18 rebounds, 7 blocks, and 3 assists to guide his team to a 5-point victory over the Clippers. I know the Clippers didn't have anybody out there playing last night, but this kid raised a lot of eyebrows, and he put himself in a good position for his NBA career moving forward and showing that he's capable of having a big night like this and controlling the action of the game. You get 24 points, 18 rebounds. You were the most important player on the floor, literally. And I just had to do it because this kid came a long way from being just a G League player to now being a vital part of the rotation to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So him going to the NBA was a good idea because that's where he had to develop at. So once again, congratulations to Moses Brown of the Oklahoma City Thunder on having a monster game to end the season. And everybody says, why would you pick a guy like this? Well, this is the one highlight that the Thunder have for the season. They were absolutely awful all year. And they get a good win and they get a good stat night from a player who most didn't expect to be here. So that's why he gets player of the night. All right, so let's get to the stretch drive and get into Talkin Tickets. And now up first for Talkin Tickets, we'll go ahead and we'll jump into this. And what we have here are some pretty good ones here. We got the Reds at the minus 140 tonight. We also got the Mets at plus 135. We got the Twins at plus 1.5. We got the under 9 with the Indians and the Angels. And then we have the over 6.5 with the Rockies and the Padres. And then we'll end it off with the Mariners with the minus 1.5. This will be a 54-1 ticket. We'll see how it shakes out. And for you guys, if you want to go ahead and check this out, you guys can go ahead to YOUWAGER, where the world bet's at. And you guys can go ahead and get yourself situated right now and get yourself with the VSXPOP promo code, and you guys will get 50% of a match deposit, which will wind up being 50% of the deposit that you put down. So if you put down 200, you'll get back 100. Okay. So you guys check out YOUWAGER, where the world bet's at. And to watch these games, go ahead and check out Fubo TV. Fubo TV, you'll get 7 days free on me. And boy, oh boy, it would be fun. And I would suggest you just go ahead and sign up if you love sports, because it's the wave of the future. So Fubo TV, get 7 days free on me, and then you guys can go ahead and reap the benefits. And once again, there is no credit check. So pretty much when you're done with it, they'll be done with you. All right. So there it is, Fubo TV. And with that, that's going to be a wrap for today's show. I want to go ahead and thank our guest today, our Monday correspondent, Jeff Dawson, head of East Coast Sports Investors, the Don of Cape Cod, for coming on in. And also want to send a big shout out to my graphics producer as well, too, for doing such a great job as usual. We had a great time at the fight this weekend as well, too. So if you guys saw me on TV, the guy next to me with the dreads, that is our graphics producer, my man Amani Akil. So you guys know who he is now too as well. So pretty much with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at noon. You guys make sure to tune in once again for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles Live, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.